build just so, with the glasses being fitted perfectly into the case, do you really think it's credible that they don't know? Or are they just doing what we're all doing? Do they just see what they want to see? Zero Park is a think tank, and as a think tank, it's a place where ideas go to die. Because for an idea to thrive, it needs to be transmitted from person to person. They keep ideas locked up. It's like a fish in a fish tank. They don't really like it. And at Zero Park, they have some amazing ideas. They just didn't know what the heck to do with them. They'd be like, oh my god, this is amazing, this thing you've made. You know what you should do with this? You should take this thing, you should put it in that closet over there. And before long, they filled up all their closets, and they still don't know what the heck to do with it. So they started having open houses, and they would invite everyone in Silicon Valley and be like, hey, open house at our place this weekend. We got some crazy crap here. Also, there'll be Doritos. And they walk into a room. There's a computer there. It looks normal. It's off. There's one new thing. There's this box with a cord coming out of it. They call it a mouse. That's not the crazy part. The crazy part is when they turn on the computers, because before this moment, the dominant metaphor in computing was that the computer was fundamentally an electronic typewriter. People didn't think about that very often because it's hard to see the metaphor you're embedded inside of it. But fundamentally, every computer was a typewriter that happened to be electronic until now. They turn on this computer, it's not a typewriter. Instead, on the screen there are windows and a cursor. And Steve Jobs leaves that room a changed man, and he goes back to Apple and he starts putting together a team, Ocean's 11 style. And he tells them, your job is to destroy Apple. Your job is to destroy the Apple that exists today. And he's serious. Because Steve Jobs is always the enemy of nostalgia. He understood that the future requires sacrifice. Steve Jobs was never afraid to knife the beam. I'll give you an example. A couple of years ago, Apple's best-selling product, was the iPod mini. It was awesome. It was an iPod, but it was mini. Everybody loved the iPod mini. And one day, Steve Jobs is making one of his fabulous keynotes, and he's saying, today, the iPod mini is no more. And it was like, no, don't hurt us, Steve Jobs. Don't take it away. We'll be so good. Instead, we give you the iPod Nano. Yay! Nano is smaller than the mini. Yay! It's exactly what I wanted. I'm going to lose it even faster now. And later, people are talking to the Apple reps. They're saying, my God, the iPod Nano is smaller and it's thinner, and it even holds more songs than the iPod Nano. And the Apple people say, actually, it doesn't hold more songs. And they say, oh well, it's smaller and it's thinner and it holds just as many songs as the iPod mini. And the Apple rep says, actually, it's a lot less. And the people said, oh, well, that sucks. Hey, can I still get an iPod mini? No, they've been pulled from the stores that very day. You cannot have one for love or money. You will have an iPod Nano and you will like it. Now I ask you, do you think of any other company in the world that behaves anything like this? That would take their best-selling product, pull it from the stores overnight, replacing it with a new product that is more technically advanced and doesn't have very much. And when people complain about this, they are told vigorously to go F themselves. And so Steve Jobs is serious when he's telling them he wants to destroy Apple. The Apple at that time is built on the Apple II platform. Their entire empire is built on that. And he's saying, no, don't be compatible with that. F that shit. Shove it off the table. Make something new. Over time, every computer that is not Mac evolves until it looks and thinks and works like a Mac. It's a mind virus that spreads absolutely everywhere. Emboldened by my success at Foxconn, I decided to embark on a big plan. But I'm going to need Kathy's help if it's going to work. So I meet her in the lobby of my hotel and I say to her, Kathy, now you work with a lot of businessmen, don't you? And she says, yes, I do. And I say, great. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to call all the factories you have connections with. I want you to call them and I want you to tell them that I'm an American businessman and that I want to buy whatever they are selling. And she listens to this and she says, but you are not a businessman. And I say, that's true. I'm not a businessman. And she says, and you aren't going to buy their products. And I say, that's true. I'm not going to buy their products. She says, you lie to them. And I say, yes. I'm going to lie to a lot of them. She says, you are going to need a lot of business cards. Industrial space is 20, 25, 30,000 workers in a single enormous space. They can exert a kind of eerie fascination. There's a beauty to industrialization on such a massive scale. You don't have to deny it. There's a wonder seeing so much order laid out in front of you. And people are walking around whispering statistics in your ear. It's easy to slip up in kind of a Stalinist wet dream. I try to subvert that by locking onto actual cases as they take me up and down the aisle. And the first thing I notice is silence. It's so quiet. At Foxconn, you're demerted if you ever speak on the line. At no factory that I went to did anyone ever speak on the line. But this is deeper than that. As a creature of the first world, I expect the factory making complex electronics will have the sound of a street. cost of labor is effectively zero. Anything that can be made by hand is made by hand. Rest assured, no matter how complex your electronics are, they are assembled by thousands and thousands of tiny little fingers working in concert. And in those vast spaces, the only sound is the sound of bodies in constant, unending motion. And it is constant. They work a Chinese hour, and a Chinese hour is 60 Chinese, 44 minutes, 60 Chinese minutes. 44 minutes, and a Chinese minute has 60 seconds. It's not like 1 hour. What's our hour now? 46 minutes? You have a bathroom break and a smoke break, and if you don't smoke, there's yoga break. This doesn't look anything like that. This looks like nothing we've seen in the century. They push the lines, and the line only moves as fast as its slowest number, so each person learns how to move perfectly as possible. If they can't do it, there are people behind them watching them, and there are cameras watching both sets of people, and people watching the cameras. They lock it down. They sharpen it to a fine, sharp edge every hour, and those hours are long. The official workday in China is 8 hours long. That's a joke. I've never met anyone who's even heard of an 8-hour shift. Everyone I talk to works 12-hour shifts. Standard, and often much longer than that. 14 hours a day, 15 hours a week, sometimes 50 hours a week. Sometimes there's a hot new gadget coming out. You know what I'm talking about. Sometimes it pegs up at 16 hours a day, and it just sits there for weeks and months at a time, month after month of straight 16, sometimes longer than that. While I'm in the country, a worker at Foxconn dies after working a 34-hour shift. I wish I could say that was unusual, but it's happened before. I only mention it because it actually happened while I was there. And I go to the dormitories. I'm a valuable future customer. They'll show me anything I ask them. Dormitories are cement cubes, 10 foot by 12, and that space there are 13 beds, 14 beds. I count 15. They're stacked up like Jenga pieces all the way up to the ceiling. The space between them is so narrow, none of us would actually fit in. You have to slide into them like coffins. There are cameras in the room. There are cameras in the hallway. There are cameras everywhere. And why wouldn't there be? You know, when we dream of the future when the regulations are washed away and the corporations are finally free to sail above us, you don't have to dream about some sci-fi, dystopian Blade Runner 1984 bullshit. You can go to Shenzhen tomorrow. They're making your craft that way today. When I leave the factories, I can feel the metaphor shifting underneath me. I can feel myself being rewritten from the inside out. The way I see everything is starting to change. I keep thinking, how often do we talk about how we wish more things were handmade? Oh, we talk about that all the time, don't we? I wish it was like the old days. I wish that had a human touch. But that's not true. There are more handmade things now than there have ever been in the history of the world. Everything is handmade. I know, I've been there. I've seen the workers laying in parts thinner than human hair, one after the other. Everything is handmade if you have the eyes to see. And then devices start coming out that Apple never would have thought of. Lifestyle devices, little boxes that play all your music. And they're compatible with Macs and PCs. And they spread out like a halo around the world, changing people's ideas about what Apple is as a company. And then when Jobs showed us the iPhone, those of us who follow technology knew here was the best one. Me again. Here was this new thing. Gone is the cursor, gone is the windowing interface. It's so simple, even a child can use it. But the changes go much deeper than that. Every device that runs that touch interface is locked down. You will never touch the operating system. That belongs to Apple and Apple alone. You will never install your own programs on those machines. Instead, you will download them from Apple servers. And Apple will choose what is available and take a healthy cut of each and every percent. Unless you jailbreak those devices, you will never truly own them. And a wall of garden begins to rise up around all the Apple users who follow me today. And a new deal is struck between Apple and its users. And the terms of the new deal are, we are going to lock this down once and for all. And let's keep it clear, you're going to love what's coming next. But this is the end of the garage. This is the end of hacking your own copy. This is the end of Wozniak. This is the rise of consumer. And that will be your role. You will consume. You will drink from Apple servers. It will be a new virtuous cycle between you and the corporate entity that is Apple. You will be tied together, and with each app you download, you will be bound even more tightly. But you will not mind, because you will never leave. Why would you leave? They're the very best devices in the world, are they not? There are unions in China. They're the ones that are fronts for the Communist Party, and then there are actual unions interested in labor reform. They're called secret unions. Because in China, if you're copying a member of or affiliated with a union like that, you go to prison. And getting this meeting involves climbing a ladder of associations, going to meeting after meeting, and each step of the way, just making good my intentions, just being clear that I'm a storyteller, and I just want to hear people's stories. I just want to hear what they have to say. And these organizers are young. They don't even look college age. They look younger than that. And I say to them, how do you know who's right to work with you? How do you find people to help you organize and do what you do? Then the workers start coming in. They come in 2s and 3s and 4s. They come in all day. It's 9, 10 hours a day. I interview all of them. Some of them are